Hello party people, hello, what is going on? Challenger EX coming at you here with a little bit of a news update regarding Dofus Touch and Ankama's kind of response to the uprise of bots. And this is a very interesting article. It's a little bit of behind the scenes of like the inner workings of the developers' thoughts and approach on tackling this issue. We all know bots. We all hate bots. We all know, we understand they hurt the game, but they exist because there's a demand. Truth be told, there's a demand for them. But yeah, we'll get into it. Let's go right into this article here. Oh, that is pretty loud. Let me move the map here. We don't often discuss efforts to eliminate bots, but with the current situation, we have to explain new measures. In a little over 2 years, our actions against bots have been reinforced and made it possible to auto-ban many of the bots, while reducing the potential for them to exist and be profitable. Some legitimate players have also paid the price with false positive, which we're doing our best to keep to a minimum. Regardless, we apologize to those affected. Otherwise, these measures have paid off, although the situation is far from ideal. Even so, it's much less dire than it once was. Should we be content with things as they are? Not in the slightest, hence the new measures. Yeah, I mean, bots are the things where like, it's kind of like getting rid of pests, or like bugs, right? At first, you can spray the bugs with the bug spray. It works out, the first few months. Eventually, the bugs become resistant to the spray, right? They become savvy, and your spray doesn't work, right? So you need to go and get a different spray, different formula, different chemicals, and now you spray the bugs, and it works again. But then the bugs become resistant to that spray, and the whole cycle continues. So that's the thing that's going on with these bots. I think. It has gotten better over the years, but I think just bots, just because of the nature of the game. The game is not very dynamic in terms of like the game doesn't require you to have, real-time action responses or reflexes, stuff like that. The game is very rigid. You click and drag, things happen in a specific order. There's no timing, so it's very easy for these botters to take advantage of that and easily script out a sequence of events that a bot could follow, and and the sequence of events is really no different than what a player is doing. So that makes it hard to kind of just like have an overall like general solution to this, because yeah, you're gonna catch innocent people in the net. But let's keep reading here. Some context. Most bots exist because players will buy commas for them using real money. I'm glad they're acknowledging this. Here's my thoughts. This is a good question. Actually, no, this is a good statement. And it is true. But it's not the question that you should be asking. Most bots exist because players will buy comments for them using real money. Okay. So we have identified the problem. The next step is to ask why. Why are players buying commas from comma sellers? And that is the question they're not asking themselves. And I think once they ask themselves that question, it's going to give them a lot of insight. Which I would try to answer that here in this video, because this is a Challenger EX video. And we love to talk, we love to ramble, we like to dive deep into our Dofus. But let's keep going. Whether this happens through specialized sites or on Discord channels, sometimes posing as a real player who aren't supposed to be bots, the result is the same. And as a side effect, buying comments also promotes harmful practices such as phishing. Fortunately, there are and always will be bots, and I'm glad they say this too, because The the reality is, again, due to the nature of the game, due to the way it's a click and what is it called? Click and point. It's a click and point game, pretty much. It's very easy to automate it. So yeah, there's always going to be bots. We have to be realistic about the infamous supply and demand issue. All studios that develop MMOs come up against them one day, no matter what the studio size, methods, etc. Even juggernauts continue to struggle with them, which is especially true for free-to-play games like Dofus Touch. Some far-fetched theories would imply that common benefits from bots. This was already hard to understand for Dofus 2, and even more so for Dofus Touch, which is free-to-play and doesn't require subscriptions. Yeah, so this never made sense to me, guys. So, of course, I'm not ignorant to the fact that these comma seller websites exist, and I have taken a look at them. And though I would admit that, I never partaken into buying comma sellers because those websites, they are shitty AF, and I'm not gonna put my payment information in a million years into one of those websites. Especially not for a game. I'm not gonna risk my personal banking information or financial information just for a game. Like, there's no way. But because of this video, and I did want to make a video on botting and the comma sellers. Of course, I did my research, and yeah, those websites are selling commas at a fraction of the price. And I do have the game booted up here. I do have the game here. So, this could be a deep dive, guys. This could be a deep dive. So if we take a look here, say if I want to buy, you know what? Let's say I want to buy Orca, right? I don't want to do the quest. The quest is going to take me forever. I don't want to buy it. You know what? I don't have the commas either. I don't have the commas because I'm a brokey. Making commas in the game is hard, and I've not dedicated my time to making commas. But I need this orchid for my set. I need this orchid for my endgame set, right? I don't have. Let's make it simple, right? Let's make it simple. I don't have 10 million commas to buy this, right? Okay, I don't have the commas, but all right. So let's look at the guillotines. 100,000. All right. So let's go into the shop here. I need 100,000 guillotines, right? Shoot. So I'm gonna need a pack of $100, and that's gonna be 85. I'm so short. So I need to get another pack. $100 is not enough. I need to get this $15 pack, this $20 pack. So it's gonna cost me $120 of real money. Shoot, you know what? I ain't got that kind of money either, right? But I really need this. I don't want to do this thing. I don't got the commas. I don't got the money. You know what? I know what I could do. Let's go to one of those comma seller websites. All right. So what can I get? Can I get 10 million commas? And this is the crux of the issue here. These comma sellers are undercutting and comma by a lot, like a lot. And again, I don't want to promote these websites. Support the developer, support the game. If you love the game, it gives you a lot of entertainment. Please support the developer. But due to the nature of the topic of this video, I am going to talk about comma sellers. But yeah, so for 10 million, for what and I was so dumbfounded too. This is ridiculous. It's only a couple bucks. If I want to get the same 10 million commas, I could literally spend a couple bucks. And I don't know where these comma sellers are coming from. I'm sure they're coming from some like third world country where the economy is not as strong, where people they're not making thousands of dollars every month. They're just trying to make ends meet. So I'm sure when they get a couple bucks here and there, that's that's a pretty big deal. So as a player, and this is the question Akama's gonna ask himself, right? Because this is the thought process that goes into a comma buyer, right? I could spend $120 to get this orchid, or I could spend a couple bucks and buy some and get this orchid, right? I could bypass doing months of work, because again, this is Dofus Touch. It's on a mobile device. It's more. It leans more in the direction of mono account, single account, right? You're doing stuff by yourself. So you tend to want to be more self-sufficient, right? But I don't want to spend 6 months, half a year doing the stupid quests. I don't want to put in the work to make the commas, because I don't know how to make commas, because it's hard. I don't understand economics. You know what? Let me spend a couple bucks. Let me go to a comma seller website, spend a couple bucks. Boom. I got myself an okra. And this is the big issue here, is that it's easier and it's more effective to go to a website like a comma buying website than it is to click on this button and spend 10 times as much money. And it sucks because there's a lot of layers to this, and one of them. I'm sorry, guys. I need some water. One of them is that a big portion of the player base of this game comes from, it might be countries that are not as economically strong, right? I'm from the U.S., right? Spending $120 here and there on the game, if I'm fortunately enough, I don't worry about money. Y'all boys doing good. Y'all boys doing good. I could throw $100 at Dofus here and there, no big deal, whatever. Y'all boys balling out. But a big portion of the player base does come from other, non first world countries. I know where $120 might be somebody's monthly income, right? So it's a big investment. And I don't know what the economics are like in France, but the relative value, it's way different depending on where you're from, right? So even though $120, for somebody who's got a good job, and a career, might not be a big deal. But somebody who's in a country where $120 just means making ends meet, of course they're gonna go with the common sellers, right? They could spare a couple of bucks, and they're good to go, right? And those kind of people, they're not worried about the health of the game. They're not worried about supporting the developers. That doesn't cross their mind. What crosses their mind is, it's cheaper to buy it from the common sellers than it is from comma. And it sucks because, of course, support the developers, guys. They make this great game, fun game. It is an exchange of value, right? They're providing you with hours of entertainment. They're asking for a little bit of money. It's just the way it is, guys. It is a free-to-play game, but you would be naive to think, you're going to play this game for free, right? People are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to make this game, to pay employees and stuff like that. They're going to get something in return, right? And it's not bad. It's not a bad thing. It's just business. It's just the way it works, right? Right? You want something for your efforts, and this happens to be monetarily. So yeah. I mean, they're trying to make this sustainable. They have their premium currency. There is a value to it, right? So if I want to get 1 million commas, right? Is there anything for 1 million here? What's 1 million? Sorry, guys. Okay, this is 1 million. So if I want to get 1 MK, it's gonna cost me 8,000 gold teens. So 8,000. How much is that? Yep. So that's in between $10 let's just keep it round, right? So $10, it's equal to 1 MK, which doesn't sound too bad. But when you're talking about like, okay, I need orchid, when you're talking about like all these different pieces of equipment, right? It's like this is 3 MK, 2 MK, 5 MK, 10 MK, right? It adds up. It adds up, and people, you know, are unfortunately taking the easy way out. And that is like that is the thing with this. It's like, okay, so now we're kind of addressing the issue of why are people buying commons from here, right? Is the game too hard, right? Is the game so hard that people are resorting to common sellers? Is that something we got to take a look at, right? How can we de-incentivize people from, like, forget about the banning thing, right? Forget about addressing all this stuff. But let's look at the root of the problem. How can we de-incentivize people to go onto a third-party website rather than our own platform? Right? That is the money question there. And unfortunately, it's you know, it's a lot of gears that are part of this problem. It's not a simple solution because, of course, you know, Uncommon needs to make their money back. It's just the nature of, you know, putting out a game. It's just the way it is. Products and services, right? I recently bought Resident Evil 4, the remake, right? It was, I bought the deluxe version. It was $70. The DLC came out. It was $10. I spent close to $100 on that game, right? But I got value out of it, right? For me, it was worth $100, right? But at the same time, I'm not in a position where, like, you know, those $100, I could have used them for my well-being, right? Paying rent or something like that. Like some other people may be in those other countries. So, yeah. So it's like, and the thing is, like, yes, the game is hard. Yes, the game demands a lot of the player. Time, resources, and stuff like that. The game is hard, and it's part of the reason why it hasn't caught on. And again, I've talked about this too. Like the game's not very accessible. And if we go into, here we go, guys. Let's go into the game here. And again, I'm in the map here. I don't know if you guys notice, but this is where a lot of bots are here. So they're just doing the Pee-wee stuff. There you go, they're just fighting. They didn't even lock their things anymore. They got so lazy. Yeah, just bots everywhere. But the thing is, like, even like, it's not just equipment. Like, I'm trying to get my high-end gear. No, it's not that. It's just like, it's like, let's look at professions, for example, right? Before, I don't know how people are leveling these. Honestly, I don't know how people are leveling these to a level over 100. It seems like near impossible. But before, like, the whole, like, recipe mix-up they had, the revamp, right? The game allowed you to level up your profession, your crafting profession, on your harvesting professions, right? So before the huge, like, revamp with the recipes, I was able to make this Twiggy Bowl, right? This Twiggy Bowl could carry me to level 60, right? This 2-slot recipe. Why? Because I could get this on my own, right? I don't have to pay money or anything. I could just go out, cut some trees. I could go out, harvest the flax, and then process it, right? I was pretty self-sufficient here. And before that too, at level 5, there was usually a recipe or two where it was all harvestable materials, right? It's a very self-sufficient path to leveling up your profession. But now, like, these recipes require so many monster resources. Like, not only do you have to go out and gather thousands of hemp, right? But you have to go kill these guys to get this tough. You have to go kill these guys, ivory, these tooth, right? Look at all these boss resources. This is insane, right? Guys, you know what's easier? You know what's easier than to going out, wasting my time, just mindlessly grinding away just to get a few experience points from this ridiculous hard recipe? You know what? I'm just gonna buy this stuff. I'm just gonna buy this stuff, right? Now, 100 for 2,000 doesn't seem like a lot. But when I need like tens of thousands of this stuff, it adds up, right? And it's just easier to straight up throw money at it, but not ghoul teams, but the common settlers, right? So that's where the demand comes. Like the game is demanding, the game is hard, and that's why people are gravitating towards these common settlers, right? Because it's human nature. It's human nature to take the path of least resistance, right? Like honestly, do you want to spend? You know, if I'm gonna do this by myself, do I want to spend all this time, you know, months, right? Just, you know, leveling from like level 60 to like 70, right? Just months of me doing nothing, but like fighting. What are these? Just take this guy for example. Months of me fighting adobinos, right? Or, you know what? I could just go to a common seller, throw a few bucks at it, buy tens of thousands of those resources, and then I'm done. Right? So this is the kind of stuff the developer has to like put. They gotta put themselves into these shoes, and really start getting at the root of the problem. Because here, if we go back to the article, where did we leave off? Okay, so we're at that far-fetched. Okay, so here the big thing is they're going, not only are they combating the bots, but they're going after comma buyers, right? And they've been doing that for a while, but for reasons described above, now we like to spend a bit more time on the source of the problem. Comma buyers aggravating the harm done to Dofus touch, which I mean, I just talked about it. This is not the source of the problem. The source of the problem is why are they buying? Why are they buying commas from comma buyers? Or comma sellers, rather. Right? The problem's not, it's not directly that they're doing it, but why? If you figure that out, you figure out this problem. Or at least you start heading down the direction of a good solution towards it. From now on, we will issue bans much more often, and sanctioned players will be much more quickly lead to a permanent ban that can be contested through support. Again, which is good. Which is good. You know, they're, as opposed to decentivizing people, they're gonna be punishing people, which my work. But again, people are gonna find loopholes around this, right? What's to stop me from just making a proxy account, right? And then putting those commas somewhere and moving the money around. I don't know, right? People are gonna find loopholes. People are gonna get banned for no reason, right? You know, people's. Give me 1 second, guys. I got a message on the phone. I was saying, right? I mean, people trade large amounts of money, especially when it comes to like exos, right? How are they gonna like Let's go back to the game, right? Like an exo could easily cost them tens of millions of dollars, not large commas. Here, let's go to rings. I know rings are popular. Jewelers, where are you? We got jewelers, ring. Right? I mean, this guy. Right? 33 million, right? So, you know, what's not like. I don't know. I think it's just a band-aid. I think this is just a band-aid to the solution. And they're a part of their solution is server rotation here. So from what I read with this is they're gonna periodically close certain servers during certain times to kind of slow down the creation of new accounts. Um, and again, I feel like this is just a band-aid as well. Because like if we go back into the game here, right, we see this is Granite Pan, by the way. You know, we see the bots that people are using, they're like level 50 characters, right? I'm sure they have a way where they're getting these characters to be efficient enough to fight these peewees. Alright, so even if a server is closed, they're just gonna jump to another server and flood that server. And speaking of that, like I don't know how efficient it would be to I don't know, just have people come in here and make sure the servers are running squeaky clean. Yeah, sure, they gotta pay somebody to do so, but is that gonna be how much more expensive is that gonna be than, you know, actually dedicating time, money, a team effort to solving this problem, right? Is it more efficient to just like, you know, have somebody just pop in here from time to time and, you know, just click on these guys like, okay, ban, go over here, like, you know, somebody who's obviously familiar with the game is like, can identify like, okay, that's a bot, this is a bot, right? And just go ban, just clean up the server here and there, right? You know, once or twice a week. How effective that would be, I don't know, but I think it would be a lot cheaper than coming up with systems and dedicating all this time just to this problem, which admittedly it's never ending. So I think I would love to see some kind of manual maintenance on the server, right? Just like you know, you gotta clean the bathrooms every so often. It gets stinky, it gets nasty, clean them up. Clean them up. So that's a solution. I was a little confused why they call it server. Why they call this article server rotation? But that's why. So they're gonna close servers. Some are gonna stay open, and then they're gonna close, and they're gonna open up and stuff like that. And here it's just about a question regarding it's like, oh, if I have a friend who wants to join me while the server's closed, like, you know, whatever. It's just kind of miscellaneous questions. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the issue. I know it's a very touchy subject because it is a, you know, buying commas, selling commas, botting. It is against the terms of service, but you know, it's something that needs to be talked about because, especially, you know, of course, you want to see the game prosper. We want to see the game grow. You know, when new players come to the game, we want them to have a good experience, enough so that they stick around and become fans of the world, of the game, right? It sucks when you know, there's a new player, they're interested in the game, and they get turned off because they see a bunch of these guys running around, and it becomes a nuisance, annoying. It gives a bad look to the game. So, but yeah, I mean, bots do, as harmless as it may be, to give, you know, the common sellers a couple bucks here and there. You know, like I said, this is a game. This game is made to make money, right? Developers gotta make money somehow. We've been fortunate, super fortunate, that the game is not plagued with microtransactions like many mobile games are. You know, there's a whole stereotype with mobile games where, you know, they're quote unquote free to play, but they're in your face with microtransactions, right? Buy this, limited time, no ads, right? So we've been super fortunate that the game didn't go down that path. I think what they're doing, right, they're offering, I think it's super reasonable. Right? If I throw... It could be better. It could be better. Right? Even if I throw $100, even if I throw $100 at this game, I couldn't buy anything that's... I can't buy anything that's at the 10 million mark, right? So, but I understand. Like, I understand they gotta make money, they gotta make their ends meet too, right? But also I see, you know, like I said, like $100, depending on the country you're in, you know, that could be a lot of money. That could be a lot of money. So people are, you know, finding loopholes, comma sellers, and, you know, they're I don't think they're purposely trying to harm the game. They're trying to, you know, enjoy the game as much as any person would. They might even be oblivious to the fact that, you know, they're causing these issues to the game and stuff like that. So that's why I'm making this video, because we gotta talk about this stuff too, right? As shady and sketchy it is, right? We gotta talk about it, because it is a big deal. It is a big deal. And again, I'm just rambling here, but yeah, I think if the developers ask themselves, why are people resorting to comma sellers? Why are people doing that? They might come down to a solution. So, all right, guys, this has been Challenger EX. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking around. I know there hasn't been much activity in the channel, but there hasn't been much movement with the game. So, but I'll try to stay on top of like this new type videos. I know I'm waiting for the seller revamp. I'm waiting for news on that. But I think it was a good article they put out. I thought this was a good topic to discuss, to make a video on. As uncomfortable it may be, you know, the game's not free. The game's not free, even though it's called free to play. You know, Uncommon gotta eat too. Uncommon gotta eat too, and they're not spending all these resources just for you to enjoy it for free. So keep that in mind, guys. Support the developer. Support the stuff you love. Like, really, it's nothing but good comes from it. You know, you're having fun with the game. You're supporting the game you love, supporting the people who make it. You're telling the people, you know, I love this game, and they're gonna be like, all right, cool, let's keep going, right? Because otherwise, that's how game dies. That's how game dies, right? When, you know, when the money stops coming in, right? It's obvious sign that people are not interested. But in this case, the money's just going to the wrong place. Even though it may not seem a lot, but it's enough where they're taking measures. They're taking the time out of their day. They're taking time out of the schedule to put preventive measures and to minimize the effects of it. But it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, guys. Take care of yourself. Until next time. Peace.